Well, let's see. Lionblade. I want to see how this old dude's doing. Hey there, buddy. What's up?
Pretty good. What about you?
I thought you were calling on my phone, but now you're calling on my screen?
Huh. That's strange.
Technologies. Anyway, what is it you want to talk to me about?
Well, I saw your review about the Scooby-Doo history, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the about our thoughts and what we thought about some of the shows and movies.
Well, that's true. I mean, there are a few things I want to talk about on some of the Scooby-Doo episodes, but because of time. But since you decided to contact me, what the hell?
Alrighty.
Shoot.
Well, the very first one I've ever watched as a child was Scooby-Doo Boo Brothers, and I think
Yeah.
I think that one was an awesome movie. But the only thing about it is, what was the point of some of them taking out Fred, Daphne, and all of them, and just having Scooby and Scrappy in the Mystery Machine? Because
Hmm. I think it's because maybe the Bruise Brothers kind of think of Scooby and Scrappy are dogs, and dogs don't act this way. I guess that's why they wanted them in the van.
oh wait, they didn't have a van. They had a truck. They had a
Oh
pickup
yeah, that's right.
truck.
That's from this. Every single show, they always had the van. I never seen them with a truck before.
Yeah, that's the only time they ever had a truck.
Mm.
But what were your thoughts on that?
Well, one thing I had to say was pretty funny is that the Bruise Brothers kind of acted like the Three Stooges. Now, I know you never watched the Three Stooges. I'm a diehard fan of the Stooges because every time when I see them, it kind of makes me think that the probably the Three Stooges have died and there's their ghosts. Always keep poking their eyes, slapping, hitting, all that.
Hmm. I noticed
Silent.
that.
Shut up. Oh, where's your sense of dignity? Right here.
Interesting. I I never thought of that. But the one thing that really got me thinking was that hillbilly girl that was smooching all over Shaggy nonstop throughout the film.
I remember that. Oh God. I think it's because a lot of people kind of think of Shaggy as a real chick magnet because he gets all the girls more than Fred or any of the other characters.
Hmm, that's
I mean,
true.
even I even remembered at the end of the Johnny Bravo episode where Johnny Bravo crossed over with Scooby, his Aunt Jebediah, started hitting on Shaggy. I mean, she was like, "Well, let's have some fun. How about it, handsome?" like,
Uh, oh God. Yeah, that. I would be not running if that was me.
if you get hit on an old lady.
I'll be running.
Well, unless if you met an old lady who is hot enough as Kath Regina Jones or Angelina Jolie, I'll be like, yeah, sure.
I'll be more into the I'll be more into the actress who played Rose, Billy Piper.
Oh, her?
Yes.
Even though she's not old enough to be I mean, she'd probably be on her 30s by now.
I
So,
think so, because she was like in her 16. I think she was like 16 when she played Rose,
yeah, that's
and
right.
that was like 12 years ago. Like,
Mm.
but let's get on back on topic. What was your first experience with Scooby Doo?
Well, when I was really young, I did watch Scooby Doo, Where Are You? But it didn't affect me at all because I wasn't really that big of a fan on the Scooby Doo stuff. But one thing I really did like, you know me, I'm a huge sucker for crossovers. So when they
Is
did
that
like a new Scooby Doo movie, that's when they started crossing over with Don Knotts, Lauren Hardy, Three Stooges, Batman, and also the Harlem Globetrotters. That's what got my interest.
Whoa, whoa,
And
whoa! Did you just say the Harlem Globetrotters?
yeah, the basketball team.
Yeah, you know
They were
what? I met
what?
them. They came to my high school.
Are you freaking kidding me?
They went to my high school and did a basketball game at my high school.
Well, probably they're the modern Harlem Globetrotters, and I'm talking about the Harlem Globetrotter that they cross over, were the Harlem Globetrotter back in the 60s and 70s.
Ah,
So if they were still around, they'd probably be very old by now.
yeah. I even have photos of me with them.
Wow, you need to start showing some pictures because I'm starting to get interested on seeing some of your pictures on your experience on certain celebrities and such.
Yeah. I mean, I met a couple of celebrities in my time, but all the way in Minnesota.
And the only celebrity I ever met was Norm Macdonald, and that was in Belterra over at Florence, Indiana.
I mean, I met one childhood celebrity, but I don't know if he would be considered a celebrity.
Oh yeah, who?
Ron McDonald.
That clown of McDonald. But all aside, tell me about your experience with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, I mean, they're very nice. I have a picture of me wearing one of their hats that they were selling, that they signed. Um, they did a lot of different tricks um, some, and they even let us during halftime. They would let us come out and play basketball with them.
Hmm.
And
Well, that's pretty interesting.
they did that like for a couple of times during my year of high school.
Well, to me, I'm not much of a sports person, so when I heard them saying that they cross over with the Harlem Globetrotter, I didn't know who they were until I asked my grandma, and she said that they're like a really talented basketball team who does a lot of interesting tricks and moves to the basketball.
But the one thing you might want to know is they're not called the Harlem Globetrotters anymore. They're called the Harlem Wizards.
The Harlem Wizards?
Yes.
Boy, did that change. But when I saw pup named Scooby-Doo, that's when I became a
Yes.
fan.
I
Oh
watched.
yeah, and another thing I did remember on some of the Scooby-Doo movies is they also did cross over with other cartoons as well. Like they cross over with the Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt, and they even cross over with Dune Buggy, the living Dune Buggy.
Oh, I saw that because they brought him back in the series Mystery Incorporated. They brought him back in like a dream state of Scooby Doo's dreams.
And they even did a crossover with Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh dear God.
Hey, it was back then before they did that live movie, which pretty much bombed in the box office.
You mean the one that I love so much?
Oh, you love the movie?
The live action films from 2005, 2004.
Oh,
Those were that was my first actual Scooby Doo movie I ever watched.
well, Josie and the Pussycats been around since the 60s and 70s, so and they were part of the Archie universe from the Archie comics. So
Hmm.
pretty much Hanna-Barbera did have a few Archie characters in their cartoon animations.
Hmm.
A little known fact I also discovered is on Pup Named Scooby-Doo, they had this made-up superhero called Commander Cool. I think they're using him as a replacement because I guess when they were making Pup Named Scooby-Doo, they couldn't use Blue Falcon and Dino Mutt, so that's why they had to make up another fictional superhero.
Yeah. I remember some.
Because
I remember some episodes from Pup Named Scooby Doo where they but most of the time it was the same guy just dressed up in different costumes.
Mm. And I always heard the most ridiculous one of all, like Chickenstein. I mean, seriously, Chickenstein.
I mean, head of a chicken, body of a... I don't know what the hell that was.
I mean, it's supposed to be, you know, combining a chicken with Frankenstein. So it's supposed to be a chicken version of the Frankenstein monster. That's what the whole thing was.
Sounds a little bit like Bigfoot.
And of course, one thing I also noticed, there was that one ghost, they said Al Capone.
Oh, God.
I know what they were doing. They took a real historical gangster, Al Capone, but make it more kid-friendly by calling him the ghost of Al Capone instead of Al Capone. And if you know your history, Al Capone was a notorious Scarface cutthroat gangster who smuggled alcohol when it was illegal back then during the Prohibition.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So know your history.
Well, the one cartoon of the series that I remember watching as a child is What's New, Scooby-Doo?
Ah, yes. I mean, I never could get that theme song out of my head. I mean, a lot of people say, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. I mean, it was a little catchy, but it didn't
pop in my head,
burned into my brain until when I started hearing What's New, Scooby-Doo, and now that song is stuck in my brain. Every time when I think of Scooby-Doo now, I'm thinking of What New, Scooby-Doo, coming after you.
We're gonna solve that mystery. I'm sorry to say this, but a good friend of mine actually did a cover of that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah. His name's his name's Freddy, so, and I can actually put it in the link if I could. To that.
I'm sure the link's gonna show in our video.
Yeah, cause I can actually he loves me shouting him out on my stuff. So if you're watching this, I'm putting that link to that video of yours in the description.
And I salute you, Fred, for doing your cover.
Yeah. Freddy Padilla, that was his name. Remember that?
Freddy Padilla.
Because I remember I asked you to do Shaggy in that. Saying that
yeah, that's right. Since I'm always the one who can do Shaggy and Scooby.
Yeah.
And of course, and also Scrappy. Puppy power! Let me at him! I'll pulverize him!
Fuck.
So, sorry folks for listening, but just letting you know. So, you hate Scrappy-Doo?
Kinda.
I love Scrappy-Doo because, I mean, I just couldn't take Shaggy and Scooby being such cowards, and they needed a brave character, and that's why I like Scrappy, because he wasn't scared at all.
I was fine with him until they added him as the villain in the live action.
I hated that. That was the only thing I hated in that movie. Taking my favorite character and making him become the bad guy. I mean, I love the live action movie, but I think the sequel was a lot better than the first.
You mean the Scooby-Doo Unmasked?
Monsters Unleashed?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I love when they have all these monsters that reminisce from the old series.
But I bet you, in that, the only character I can think that you'd be interested in is Velma.
What can I say? I love a nerdy, smart, brainiac girl.
I was more interested in the whole like Shaggy being brave in that sort of in those films sort of thing, because he wasn't a coward in those.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when they saw the cotton candy glob, at first they got scared and they were like, "The cotton candy glob."
Well, the thing is, I'm still laughing about the whole him turning into a girl.
Oh, And turning Scoob into a Tasmanian devil. I mean, I was like, damn.
Okay, I can't do that.
Well, you know me, I love Looney Tunes, and Tasmanian Devil is definitely a Looney Tune and one of my favorites.
But when it comes to that, I do love the way Matthew Lillard portrayed Shaggy, though.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he did a pretty good job. And of course, it was kind of funny because first time I saw him, he was a killer in the movie Scream.
Well, and the funny thing is, did you know that after Matthew Lillard left, after they did the first Scooby-Doo and the second Scooby-Doo, even though all the cast members left the franchise, he stayed as Shaggy in the stay and did the voice for him in all the animation movies.
Wow. I mean, I guess Scooby didn't give him a Scooby snack on Looney Tunes Back in Action because I remember that scene where the cartoon Shaggy and Scooby were talking to the real him in that scene, and Shaggy was getting all like, what was that performance? You made me sound like a total space cadet. I was sorry, I was trying to get to the real you. If you goof up in the sequel, I'm like coming after you. Yeah, I give you Scooby Star.
Yeah, that was Matthew Lillard.
Yep. I was kind of surprised to see him talking to the cartoon version of Shaggy and Scooby.
Wait, that was Matthew Lillard?
Yeah.
Talking to Shaggy?
Yeah.
What the
I
fuck?
did that in Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Okay, I gotta watch that. I need to go back and watch that. It's on HBO Max. I gotta go back and watch that now just to see if that's actually true. Because I didn't notice that was Matthew Lillard playing himself while talking to Shaggy.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's like tons of voice actors who did the voice of Shaggy, but the most popular one of all was the very first actor who did the voice of Shaggy, and they remembered him more because he did a lot of commercial announcements and such.
Yeah.
I mean, I would remember his name, but it kind of escapes me.
I can't remember his name either.
Mm.
But let's see. What else was there?
I remember that you said that you also enjoyed Kiss.
Yes. Oh yes, they did a crossover where Scooby-Doo met Kiss, but they were actually aliens.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I had to say about that one. I mean, before I'm going to talk about it, what is your favorite Kiss song?
Rock and roll all night.
Oh, yours is I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day.
Yes.
Mine is you gotta lose your mind to Detroit, Rock City. Shut up.
Oh dear God.
But here's a little known fact. A little known fact you should learn. A lot of people do say that crossover of Scooby-Doo meets Kiss, the premise of the story is a lot like one of the Kiss's special movie they did. They did a TV movie called The Phantom of the Theme Park, where there is this guy who starts taking over their theme park, except there was no aliens involved because that was made up for the Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah. But the thing is,
go ahead.
The funny thing is, I am so wondering why this happened, but they considered Gene Simmons a demon in that.
Well, that's their thing. I mean, Gene Simmons started the whole group of Kiss, and he tried to make them more like a group of superheroes who forms a team, and his character is the demon, kind of like Ghost Rider or Etrigan on the DC universe.
Interesting.
Gene Simmons was a diehard fan of superhero comics, and Superman was one of his favorites. So that's why. And a little known fact: if you ever find a Kiss comic book, and it's a Marvel one made way back either the 60s or 70s, probably the 70s, A lot of people say that the band Kiss pricked their finger and mixed their blood with the red ink in the comic. So if
Interesting.
so if you ever try to find that comic book on maybe Amazon or eBay, it might be very expensive because of that rumor saying that they put their DNA in the comic.
That sounds kind of creepy.
I know, but hey, something for the Kiss fans.
Okay, I just realized you're wearing your Batman shirt. I have the exact same shirt. We could have matched. Wearing fedoras and the same Batman shirt. People would get us confused.
You know, speaking of Batman, that was one thing I really did enjoy when they
The,
did the crossover with Batman.
they also
And
they did a two crossovers with Batman.
actually three.
Three? I know they did one with
Yeah.
Adam West's Batman.
No, that's not Adam West. He's supposed to be the Batman from Super Friends and not the Adam West Batman.
Oh, because they had the Adam West Batmobile in one of them.
Well, I'm sure they designed it to make it look like the Adam West one, but I don't think they hired Adam West to do the voice of Batman for the Scooby-Doo. But when they did Guess Who Scooby-Doo, they had the late great Kevin Conroy playing the voice of Batman on that one, and then the Batman Brave and the Bold, which I'm kind of okay with the Golden Age version of Batman, but I was more interested in seeing all those great superheroes during the Golden Age in
Yeah.
that episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I mean, I don't like the costume of that Batman, but I do like the introduction of all the superheroes that he crosses over in the DC universe in Batman Brave and the Bold.
Yeah. But
I mean, to me, I always like the dark and gritty, broody Batman. I don't like the bright and colorful, cheerful Batman.
so you prefer the Dark Knight version?
You're darn right I do.
Okay, Joker.
Oh, please don't be such a party pooper.
I can't.
But one thing I thought it was really neat that they did on Guess Who Scooby Doo is not only did they cross over with Kevin Conroy's Batman, they also cross over with other DC superheroes. Like they cross over with Wonder Woman, and then they
Superman.
cross. No, they didn't cross over with Superman, but they did cross over with the Flash.
Oh yeah, the Flash. What else?
One thing I thought was really shocking, they even cross over with Sherlock Holmes, but they kind of discover he's not really Sherlock Holmes. He's just somebody who thinks he's Sherlock Holmes.
That sounds a lot like the next Doctor episode.
Kind of, yeah. That Christmas special with David Tennant. Yeah.
What did they
But
do? What did they do? Take the idea and put it into a Doctor Who script?
yeah, except it's Scooby and the gang who thought they met the real Sherlock Holmes, but it turns out he's somebody who thinks he's Sherlock Holmes. Which they used that premise before in other movies. Like there's a movie called There Will Be Giants where George C. Scott plays a mentally ill man who thinks he's Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But here's one thing I have remembered. There was an episode of Scooby Doo that I've been dying to trying to find because I remember watching this as a little kid. There was an episode of Scooby Doo where Velma wanted to solve mysteries with Sherlock Holmes, and then they went to this London like theme park where it's overrun by robots, and the guy made an android of Sherlock Holmes, and they're solving the case along with him until here's the biggest shocker. It turns out that this cyborg Sherlock Holmes was putting him in the wrong path because it turns out that the royal family jewels was stolen, and it turns out that the owner of the theme park really stole them, but tried to avoid them trying to solve a real case.
Yeah, that's how the Kiss episode went, wasn't it? kinda.
Well, on the Kiss one, it was a security guard.
But it sounds like the same premise.
Hmm, kinda, except they were in a theme park version of London,
Ah.
and of course, the cyborg Sherlock Holmes.
Um. But Okay. When it comes to the Scooby-Doo movies, there is one that was my favorite as a child.
What's that?
Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase.
Oh yeah,
Got sucked
where
into
they
the
kinda,
got sucked into a video game, and everything that happened to them was real.
that kind of reminds me. Have you ever played any Scooby Doo games? Any video
Yes.
game?
I once played. I used to have the Cyber Chase one on the PS2.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I also
Oh,
played Scooby Doo 101 Monsters.
wow. I When I went to my cousin's place, she had a Super Nintendo video game of Scooby Doo, but it was kind of complicated. I mean, I tried to figure out how this whole thing's supposed to go, but it is supposed to be a mystery game, so I wasn't keen. And there was a PC game I got called Scooby Doo Haunted Theme Park or something like that, where you choose to play either Shaggy, Fred, Velma, or Daphne, and you have Scooby Doo along with you and trying to solve a mystery in an abandoned theme park.
Hmm.
It was a PC game, so it was so long ago. But
Yeah.
I just never played any of the Scooby Doo video games in my life. I mean, I would, if I could, try some. But of course, I hear that there are two Scooby Doo games came out, and I think they're either from PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 2 or Xbox 360, where it had its own style, and they said it was the best they were the best Scooby Doo games they made of all time.
Okay. But one thing I liked about that movie is they is when they got the very last the very last part of the game, and they end up going to that like that milk shop, and they end up meeting their doppelgangers. They were all the same.
Yeah,
They're the same people, but in their original costumes instead of the ones we see today.
yeah, them in their modern look and they're in their classic look. And of course, it was kind of odd. I mean, it was kind of funny that the Shaggy with the green shirt meets Shaggy with the red shirt, which we have seen Shaggy in a red shirt before
But that
when they did those.
the only time you ever seen that is, I think, the only time I ever seen him in a red shirt is in the Blue Brothers episode.
But he did wear that shirt in the other specials, like the Reluctant Werewolf, where Shaggy turns into a
Oh yeah.
werewolf, and also the Ghoul School, where they go into an all girls school where they're all monsters.
Oh yeah. And he's supposed to be like a teacher sort of thing.
Yeah, they're supposed to teach them how to do sports and all. And their rival was a military all boys school, which it's kind of funny. I mean, you have a school full of female monsters, and their rival is a military school with all human boys.
Sounds like
Oh, dang.
sounds like Michael and Mantis.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, you're a human. Mantis is an alien, and you're the one who had a thing for her.
Yeah, well, here's a shocker. Did you know in the Christmas special, it's Mantis claimed that she might be Star Lord's sister?
I haven't seen that, so no spoilers.
Okay, I only saw clips of it, okay? I haven't seen the whole thing. Besides, I don't have Disney Plus for crying out loud.
Haha.
Oh, shut up.
You can't see Mantis.
Shut. I'm going to start acting like that hippie from Futurama who was always like this. Shut up, 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 shut
I hate you.
up.
But the
Oh, you
but
like me
the
because I make you laugh.
but there is one thing. Um, there's one Scooby-Doo series that you have never seen that is actually kind of different towards the others.
Well, now what's that?
Mystery Incorporated, because in Mystery Incorporated, I know you haven't seen it, but
I did actually.
but the one thing that's different that puts those towards different than the others is in Mystery Incorporated, they deal with actual aliens, and all the monsters are fake, are not fake. They're actually real.
I have seen Mystery Incorporated, but I don't remember the alien part. But I also remember. I mean, my thoughts about Mystery Incorporated on the you since it's on YouTube. I don't know when they're going to do episode two because they only did episode one. But one thing I
Oh,
would have to say
are you talking about the live action?
is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the cartoon version.
Oh yeah, that's right. Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that.
the one thing that they got that's different between that and their others is in that one they actually deal with actual monsters that are actually real, and they're having to deal with a curse that is cursing Crystal Cove.
Huh. Well, I mean, Scooby and Shaggy have dealt with real monsters before. Besides the reluctant werewolf and those
Blue
other ones for
Brothers.
Shaggy, yeah, and also the Dual School. They even did the 13th Ghosts of Scooby Doo
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
with late,
I
late
never seen
Vincent
I
Price.
never seen that one. So I
Oh,
the one where it's Shaggy and Scooby are just with Daphne and no one else.
yeah, and Scrappy, but of course they also have this kid along with them named Flim Flam.
Flim flam.
Yeah, I know it's a silly name, but I don't know why they call him that. But there you go. And of course, Vincent Price doing the voice of Vincent Von Ghoul, who's supposed to be like some kind of sorcerer who's helping them out.
Interesting.
I mean, heck, they even did like some sort of reunion episode called "The
But
Curse of the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo," where Flim Flam is fully grown and they're all being united.
yeah. But the thing is when it comes to there's been so many Scooby Doo shows and movies. Let's say the two live actions. Ahoy Scooby Doo, where they're dealing with ghost pirates. Um Scooby Doo uh um Hawaii. I have so many Scooby Doo movies that I could just read them off.
Well, you don't forget about the those other two live action Scooby Doos,
Oh,
where they're
Mystery Begins and Curse of the Lake Monster.
yeah, that's right.
Oh no, they're not Curse of the Lake Monster. It was
No,
I'm trying to think of the name of that one.
I think it's Curse of the Lake Monster or something like that.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Which I really did like the actress who played Velma. I just couldn't believe that in real life she came out of the closet.
Yeah. Well, not just that. In that one, she was actually the villain the whole time.
I know, that was a huge twist. But here's a little known fact. I watched the behind the scenes of the Mystery Begin. The reason why the actor who played Fred couldn't have blonde hair because during the makeups department they did gave him blonde hair, but he just looked straight up ridiculous. So they just let him keep his hair color.
Yeah. I mean, have you noticed in every movie that, or in every Scooby Doo thing, Fred's kind of like has like a kind of like a blondish yellowish hair.
Every single movie and show, Fred's always be the blonde one.
While Daphne is kind of like a reddish girl.
Yeah, she's the hot redhead.
Well, Velma has like a brownish hair.
Yeah, she's the smart brainiac brunette.
Well, and I feel like Shaggy's is kind of looks a little bit like yours. Kind of looks like yours, like darkish.
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
Hmm. A lot of people do say. I mean, one time I used to go with the mustache and goatee look. I mean, really short goatee. A lot of people did say I kind of look like Shaggy, and I was like, what? But of course, one thing it's different between me and Shaggy. I'm brave. He's not.
He's a coward. You're not.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a monster coming up to me, I say, piss off.
Right? But the one thing is, what about the one thing I like is how Scooby's never always goes, "Yeah, I'll do something for Scooby's dog." But you're being a coward. But the second you're like, Scooby, yeah, do you want a Scooby shot?
Yeah, I mean, every time when Scooby gets scared, they'll be going like, would you do it for a Scooby snack? Two Scooby snacks?
But the funny thing is, listen to this. You know how weird it is that I didn't notice this until the live action Scooby, the very first live action Scooby Doo, when Shaggy ate dog food and then said that it's delicious and good for you.
I'm surprised Shaggy doesn't use the same joke that Mel Gibson used in Lethal Weapon 2 because, I mean, if you ever watch Lethal Weapon 2, Mel Gibson, they wanted him to quit smoking, so they start giving him doggy treats. So he keeps eating doggy treats. And then he says, I have something with my doggy problems. What kind of doggy problems? Well, every time I see a car pass by, I have to go chase it. And every time I try to lick myself, I fall off the chair.
Right? I mean, sometimes I feel like when I think of Shaggy, he kind of makes me think of the Shaggy dog a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I always thought. I mean, the name Shaggy, you just think of the Shaggy dog, but nope, it's a guy.
And Shaggy dog is a guy that turned into a dog.
Well, if you mention, I mean, if you mean the reluctant werewolf, where Shaggy turns into a werewolf. Last time I saw a werewolf and I saw him face to face, I was like, "You're a werewolf?" And the werewolf had a sense of humor. He says, "No, I'm a squirrel monkey. Of course I'm a werewolf."
Yeah, like you would ever see a werewolf.
I'm friends with Mr. Death and Dracula, so
Yeah, but look at me. I came across I had to deal with Dracula.
well, that's your doctor's universe. I'm talking
No,
about.
I'm talking about the Phantom.
Oh yeah, when you were the Phantom. Yeah,
I had to deal with Dracula.
yeah, doing the old sword fighting.
But when it comes to that, have you ever thought about what would happen if Scooby-Doo, with all these crossovers, how would you feel if Scooby-Doo entered the Doctor Who universe? Because they actually did a Scooby-Doo Supernatural crossover.
I know, and I thought that was a pretty cool thing, even though I hardly watch the Supernatural. I mean, I only saw the first seasons. I haven't seen the rest of it, but I couldn't believe that they were able to do a crossover episode where the Winchester brothers and that angel guy,
Castiel.
Castiel, went all the way to the Scooby-Doo universe.
Yeah, they got sucked into their new TV. That's what happened.
But of course, I know that your doctor's not getting sucked to the television. Your TARDIS just ended up into their universe.
Exactly. And and Velma starts hitting on my doctor.
Yeah, that's right, folks. One thing you guys should know: my buddy Eric and I are working on a Doctor Who crossover script with Scooby Doo, And of course, my doctor's going to have a brief sort of a cameo, almost at the end. So you guys should stay tuned on Lionblade to check it out if we ever get it done. Isn't that right, buddy?
Yep. Roll. Really? Oh, I can never do that. I'm gonna stop myself.
Leave it to the professionals. Yeah.
I'm more good at join the doctor, Scooby, or join you in up.
If Disney makes a deal with Scooby-Doo, maybe there's a crossover of Scooby-Doo and Star Wars.
Oh my god! Do you want to read the saga? Oh,
no! Like, no way, man. I don't want to deal with somebody with the dark side of the Force, man.
Oh god! What did this turn into? This will be a Scooby-Doo cross.
I know you fans are gonna love it. You fans would probably get a huge kick. But no, we're not planning on making an audio of Scooby-Doo and Star Wars. I mean, the last thing we need is have Disney breathing in our necks for making that crossover. Because I know how strict they are.
I mean, I did a crossover with where my doctor ends up in the Mickey Mouse universe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I haven't got anything out of it.
Just make sure make sure you don't get paid for it, and that's when they start giving you problems.
But
that's why when I make my crossover, I don't get paid for it because I'm not trying to make money out of it. I'm just doing it for fun.
Exactly, that's what I do. But when it comes to Scooby-Doo, the one thing that the one that I've always thought about that really got me weirded out is when Scooby and Shaggy dressed like Velma and Daphne.
Mm.
Do you remember that?
I think I do. I think I remembered that.
And
but speaking of Daphne and Velma, have you seen that live action movie of Daphne and Velma?
I really want to.
Well, I've seen the review from Nostalgia Critic, and it looked pretty interesting. That if it's available on the thing, I should check it out myself. But I do like what they're trying to do here. They're trying to focus on the ladies from the Scooby-Doo universe, except they solve the mysteries themselves. And one thing I thought was pretty neat is Daphne believes in aliens and supernatural. Velma, she believes in the reality. And the actresses who play them did a pretty dang good job. And I do like the twist they did where they're trying to make Daphne be mixed race. Like her dad's white, her mother's black.
Yeah.
So that was quite of a twist there. They were planning on making a sequel, but sadly those actresses grew up, so they might be getting too old to play their characters again.
Yeah.
But it would have had a pretty good franchise there.
Fun thing is, one thing I just thought of was, when it comes to Shaggy and Scooby and Velma and Daphne, have you noticed in the one thing that was weird was when Shaggy put on Fred's outfit, but then all Scooby did was mixed Velma's outfit with Daphne's.
Oh yeah, I mean I remember when. Are you talking about the live action sequel?
Yes, when Scooby had Daphne's boots and Velma's sweater.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought that was so funny when she said, "Sorry, Daph, those boots of yours don't fit me." But Scooby starts wearing it, and Daphne was like, "Those boots do not go with that sweater."
Yeah. Your go-go boots.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's one thing I was kind of surprised of. that they had Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred and Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne. I mean, they both were
Hmm?
together in that one slasher movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then when I heard that in real life they both got married and they both retired from acting.
Interesting. Did you know that Freddie Prince Jr. actually was in Illinois for a convention that our friend Sam found out goes to?
Really?
Yeah, him and Matthew Lillard both were at the same convention one year in Illinois.
And Freddie Prinze Jr. got annoyed.
By what? No, they were at the same convention.
Oh, I see. Oh, Illinois, right.
Illinois. Did you really get annoyed with Illinois?
Well, I mean,
Or no wait,
you
that's
said it
not
kind of fast.
no, Pennsylvania. That's where he's
Oh,
from. The,
oh.
they went to a
Well,
Pennsylvania
I never
convention.
even I didn't expect Freddie Prinze Jr. starts appearing in the conventions.
Well, apparently Christopher Eccleston never did conventions, but he just started doing it.
Oh, I wonder did Sarah Michelle Gellar ever appear during the Buffy conventions?
Hmm.
I mean, after all, everybody do remember Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy.
I wonder if they would ever do a crossover where Scooby-Doo ends up in Buffy the Vampire.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny. It'd be pretty funny seeing Daphne and Buffy. They both kind of looked at each other like they both look alike, except Buffy's blonde and Daphne's red.
Hey, I just thought of a good crossover.
But
If I should do a Scooby-Doo crossover script where Scooby-Doo crosses over with Twilight.
oh, my buddy Dracula will be spinning on his grave.
And have Daphne fall in love with Edward.
Here, I got a better one. How about Scooby Doo crossover with Scream?
They already done that.
No, they didn't.
Unless they were that was a T-shirt I saw.
Well, I haven't seen. I mean, the only thing that was close enough was, of course, that Robot Chicken episode where Scooby Doo were in Camp Crystal Lake and Jason kept killing them.
Interesting.
And believe it or not, those were the real cast from the live action movie doing the voice of their character in Robot Chicken. Since they had Seth Green playing the curator of the museum in the second movie, and he creates Robot Chicken, so that's why he was able to have them playing the gang.
But when it comes to ones that they met, didn't they also meet Stan Lee in one episode?
Well, I always thought that Stan Lee only appears on superheroes that are Marvel, but I've been hearing him. I've been hearing that he also appeared in other things. Like he appeared in the Princess Diary sequel, and he also appeared in the Teen Titans, even though that is a DC universe. But hey, Stan Lee said that his favorite DC superhero is Lobo.
Yeah.
That's right, English. My favorite DC superhero of all time is Lobo. Because he makes me.
Oh yeah. Okay, I can't do that. Well,
But
fine.
back to the whole Scooby thing. I guess with Scooby-Doo crossover they've been doing lately, I mean, I guess it will never end. And of course, they also been doing other crossovers like the Flintstone meets the WWE wrestling, and even I heard the Jetson did the crossover too.
Yeah, I remember that.
But have you ever seen that one movie called Scoob?
Oh God.
You hated it?
No, one sec. Where? Are you talking about this?
Oh, oh yeah. So you got that shirt?
I got this for Christmas last year.
But what are your thoughts about that movie?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I like the premise of how they became friends.
So do I, but
But the
there
one thing,
are a lot of
the one thing I hated about this movie is how Simon Cowell, of all people, tried to break the gang up.
yeah. I mean, of course, at the end, it turns out it was Dick Dastardly's plan all along.
Exactly. Like Simon Cowell was actually the villain the whole time.
Now, here's one thing I would like to say about the Scoob movie. I mean, they made the movie to open up the Hanna-Barbera universe, like it's supposed to be part of this huge Hanna-Barbera universe. And now, one thing I had to say, what they did with the Blue Falcon and Dynamite, I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, okay, one thing I had to say. Blue Falcon was supposed to be a typical, boring, cliche superhero. He's always like, I am Blue Falcon. I am here to save the day. But that Blue Falcon, the son of Blue Falcon, is an imbecile, and Dino Mutt is supposed to be a dumb mechanical dog as a comic relief, but now they made him sarcastic. And my other favorite character from that movie is, of course, Captain Caveman. I mean, I remember Captain Caveman. What he was like a caveman superhero with a powerful club. And every time when he's ready to do fight some crime, he goes like, Captain Caveman! But this Captain Caveman was, I mean, he was the opposite of how I remember Captain Caveman. So I know why the movie bombed pretty bad is because they didn't get the gay darn characters right.
Yeah, and to be honest, when it comes to Scooby-Doo, I have a memory from Scooby-Doo that I had a memory of when I was 10 years old.
What memory is that?
I back when I was 10 years old and I was still going through heart failure, I got a wish from the foundation called Make-Wish and they flew me down to Florida for me to meet Scooby-Doo in person.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Be honest, I was a diehard fan of Scooby-Doo when I was little. So when I saw the Mystery Machine pull up in front of me, I was rushing to the van. And Scooby came up, gave me a hug, and then they talked to me for a little bit, and then they actually opened the doors to the van and had me sit in the Mystery Machine.
Wow, that must be the best moment of your life.
And they even asked me if I wanted to go for a ride.
Wow.
And to be honest,
Now
I want you to react to this as Shaggy and Scooby, okay? But they asked me, so what ride are you going on? And I said, the Mummy.
Like the Mummy? The Mummy? Right.
Yeah. I'm going to see a mummy, and there's going to be a case going on there. And I want you two to help me.
Like you really want us to solve a case of a mummy man with Brandon Fraser? With Brandon Fraser? Right. Here goes my train.
Well, you have a train going by. Well, my phone keeps going off. You know, we're already almost at an hour on this.
Well, I think we should close this up, but I had to say it was really fun talking to you and talking about our thoughts on every single Scooby-Doo. Of course, we couldn't do the entire series, or else it will be
very
at
long.
This all day. So, thank you very much, Lionblade, for giving me some interesting details and your thoughts and point of view. And as for me, I'm the multi-voice reviewer. I remember it so I can jog your memory. So see you later, folks.
See ya.